Some people don't really know about radio tech, and that makes perfect sense really. It's just some random unit the devs decided to get rid of, so you can't expect anyone to really know about it. What really surprises me though is just how many people don't know about radio tech. While collecting footage, I've been asked about radio tech on almost every game I played, and despite this video not really being useful to most noob and combat players, there was a poll, and the clear majority of about 5 people have spoken. The stats for radio tech are not noteworthy. The real meat and bones lies in its attacks, but we'll go over stats anyway. Radio tech is the weakest unit in the entire game, being one-shot by most every single unit. It has bad mobility and a pretty reasonable price tag for what it's capable of. As for its attacks, it has 2, one being an AoE attack with the second longest cooldown in the game, one later, and its second attack having a whopping 4 turn cooldown, making it the longest cooldown in the game. Both attacks also have the highest damage in the game, the largest AoE in the game, and the largest amount of hits per attack in the game. Its first attack fires a total of 15 times in a 3-tile wide area. Each shell deals a total damage of 30 and a minimum damage of 22. The shells will land randomly anywhere within a 3-tile death zone, and on average, any unit caught in the death zone will take about 30 damage. But it's not guaranteed that any shell will hit your target, with there being 13 tiles that can be hit by the shells. It means there's a chance that the shells miss whatever you were firing at in the first place. But this is where the second attack comes into play. The second attack requires you to stand still for a turn before firing. The attack does 30 damage per shell with a total of 10 shells per attack, and each shell deals 10 minimum damage, so in theory, it can one-shot any single unit in the entire game. But in practice, it rarely can one-shot even a medium tank. I personally don't know why that is, but I think it might have something to do with Veterancy. I like to use radio tech as sort of artillery replacement. For example, if you don't want to use radio units, but you still want some destructive firepower, like artillery, but if we want to use radio tech like artillery, we have to keep in mind its range. With 4-tile range for both attacks, it's bad for artillery standards, but fine enough for regular unit standards. You're only going to really find yourself using the first attack with radio tech. It is much more powerful compared to a second attack. The only reason you would ever use a second attack is to one-shot a heavier tank that's been bothering you, but like I said, it never really seems to one-shot anything heavy. So is the first attack any good? Yes and no. The biggest positive this unit has over the other artillery units is that it gains veterancy like any other infantry. That being, it only needs 1 kill for a star of veterancy. And a veterancy is really good for this unit. With just 1 star, the damage goes from 30 to 33, and at max veterancy, you can do a whopping 39 damage per shell. Considering they only need 3 kills with the strongest attack in the game, it is really nice. But its weakness is how exposed it is. With no health, mobility, or proper artillery range, you're going to have to position it perfectly. So you always think ahead when moving your radio tech, because you treat it as if you have the no turret debuff. You see, with how the AI works, it will go after weaker units before stronger ones. So if you attack with your radio tech without moving it afterwards, it's basically guaranteed to die. That's why you should think ahead. You need to be able to have radio tech in the right spot at the right time, or else you could lose a whole 120 ticks. You should always keep your radio tech behind very thick walls of units, but not too close as for howitzers to hit it. But you should also have it behind any armor you have, as you easily can move armor to the side when you're about to attack with radio tech. To position your radio tech properly, you need to take in a plethora of factors, that being where the enemy is, where the enemy is going to be, and where your radio tech is. You should not have your radio tech out in the open ever. If it's not behind a layer of grunts, then it better be in some kind of hidden terrain, like forests or houses. You want to make sure that no enemy infantry you see could accidentally come across your radio tech. It's also important that you have a good spot to move your radio tech to after firing, so keep that in mind as well when positioning your radio tech. Also keep in mind where your supply is, because with the outlandish positions you're going to put radio tech in, especially if you have supply nearby. It should also resupply radio tech after every attack, as to not take any extra turns sitting around waiting for supply. Sadly, with all its firepower and damage, it is still overshadowed by most artillery units, mostly because of how unreliable the damage can be at times. That's about everything I can say with this unit. It was very surprisingly basic for what it was, mostly just being weak, or complete glass cannon. I hope they do add it back to the game though. There have been rumors flying around that they are planning to remake it, or even re-edit. I don't know myself though. This is the series now. What I'm planning on doing is, if there are any comments or suggestions in the comments, putting that into a poll to decide which unit I do next. The polls will probably be under my post, but if you want more direct news, maybe you can join my Discord instead. It's Guts and Black Powder related, but I still talk about news and combat every now and then. That should be it. Thanks for watching. Bye.